I'll give you an example. Years ago when our children were still in elementary school, we were walking through a really big mall and we were passing by a Victoria's Secret. And as you know it's a Victoria's Secret store when you're walking by. And so we were walking by and I said, wait a minute, everybody come back. We came back and we stopped in front of the Victoria's Secret and I said, what do you guys think that this is trying to sell? And so there we are, a family of 6, standing in front of Victoria's Secret store having a conversation. And, the kids are all younger, and most parents would just shuffle really quickly by the store and say, close your eyes, or you hope your kids don't see it. And maybe there are times for that, but I rather stop and help my children acknowledge that this is what they're being exposed to, and I want to help them make sense out of that. And so to stop and say things like, guys, what are they trying to sell here? And some of them are like, well, I really like that color, or wow, she really needs more clothes on. And you get all kinds of funny, humorous answers, and then sometimes serious things. And you would never know. We waste so many opportunities in our kids' lives while they're passing billboards or while movies are going on, and that we could stop and slow the moment down to help them understand what they're experiencing, to help them navigate it, and to foster question asking. To let them know that we're not just going to pretend that didn't happen. Instead, we're going to acknowledge it and talk about it. The key, too, is when you do that, you have children that are going to come home from school with events that have happened and say, Mom and Dad, guess what happened today at school? Why? Because they've watched hundreds or dozens of moments where you've done that with them. And it's not at all weird to do it. It's not at all embarrassing, that they have confidence that as adults we can handle those topics. So the chances of a child being exposed to pornography, or a friend inviting them into a social media app that is inappropriate, and them coming home saying, hey, you'll never guess what happened in school, it's much higher that they'll have that conversation if they've watched us model those conversations over and over. So talking freely, talk often, talk freely, talk soon. And what do I mean by soon? I mean, start young. And so a question parents will often say is, well, how young is too young? Or when should I start talking to my kids about these things? And I'll say from the moment you're bathing them, from the moment you're teaching them body parts. So, for example, that song, Head and Shoulders, Knees and Toes, I've thought about a lot over the years, where we'll teach our kids, where are your eyes? It's a really cute thing to teach toddlers, where are your nose? Where is your eyes? Or we teach them head and shoulders, knees and toes. And I'll often joke in safe places, I'll joke, what happens between the shoulders and the knees? Everything gets left out. So I'm teaching my kids to find their ears and their eyes, but I'm leaving out body parts left and right between their shoulders and their toes. And can you imagine teaching your kids head and shoulders, penis, toes, and how mortified somebody would be if your kids were walking around singing that? And so I used to joke, that's what I want to teach my kids, so they're not afraid of talking about body parts. Why? Because we teach them these things, but then when it comes to private parts of their body, we come up with all kinds of ridiculous names. Why? Why do we do that? In some ways, I would say it presumes shame or embarrassment. In ways it shouldn't. Now, there's appropriate ways to talk about people's bodies, and we talk in issues of respect and privacy. But there's something that we presume when we don't teach kids that it's okay to call what your body is, and not to be ashamed of it, that God created it and it is good. And if you start with that, then you add on to it and you teach as they go along things like, well, now we show respect, and here's where you get dressed, and people should give you privacy in the bathroom, right? But there's no shame in it. It's completely natural and normal. And so we're always talking about it in developmentally appropriate ways, but we're talking openly, and we're talking sooner than later, because I want to inform the way my children think about the subject, not wait for somebody else to do that.